Nothing can hold you back, break you, or stop you. That's the promise and the provocation behind Machiavelli's dark power. In this video, we'll unpack what that really means, how to see the world as it is, build unshakable leverage, master perception without selling your soul, and act so decisively that obstacles dissolve. By the end, you'll have a practical playbook for becoming resilient, strategic, and effective without becoming ruthless. Begin with the two forces that rule any game you play: chance and character. Machiavelli called them fortuna and virtu, the flood and the builder. Fortuna is the river when it rains for 40 days straight. Market shocks, a boss resigning, an algorithm change, a sudden illness, a partner's betrayal, a barren job board, a citywide strike on the exact day of your presentation. Virtu is the person who knew rivers flood and put up dikes in the dry season, stockpiled timber, trained neighbors to move sandbags, and rehearsed who grabs the elderly before the water rises. Nothing can hold you back is not a spell. It's engineering, accepting the floodplain and building anyway. Start by refusing the two most expensive illusions. 1, that life is deterministic if you just try hard enough, and 2, that it's so random nothing you do matters. Both absolve you of responsibility. The first makes you arrogant and brittle, the second, passive and resentful. Hold the middle. Most things are uncertain, but not unshapable. Your job is to widen the corridor where your effort meaningfully moves the outcome. Map your terrain like a strategist, not a tourist. Write down the actual forces that push and pull the area you want to win in: supply, demand, gatekeepers, cycles, common failure points, typical timelines, the 3 most likely black swans that aren't actually black if you study history. If you're building a business, list the 5 ways customers discover solutions like yours, the 2 choke points where 80% of competitors bleed out, usually cash, runway, and distribution, and the legal or platform rules that, if changed, would erase you. If you're making art, map trends, venues, communities, curation tastes, and the handful of people whose praise or skepticism creates cascades. If you're building a career, map what's actually rewarded: outcomes, not effort; influence, not mere knowledge; reliability under pressure, not brilliance in calm. Machiavelli's princes read cities the way hunters read wind. You read your domain with the same seriousness. Then, assume the flood and build with redundancy. A single source of income is a dam with 1 gate. 1 supplier, 1 audience channel, 1 sponsor, 1 skill. Each is a silent hostage situation. Diversify deliberately. 2 channels with different failure modes will save you more than 10 similar ones. Put 10 to 20% of your time into option creation. Experiments that are too small to cost you dearly, but large enough to open doors if they work. Call them micro bets: a monthly collaboration, a new distribution stream, a second vendor qualified, a portable credential. Fortuna cannot drown someone who floats on many logs. Train your reflexes before the waters come. Most people practice only when stakes are high and panic scrambles the hands. Reverse it. Rehearse crises in peace. Do pre-mortems. It's 6 months later and this failed catastrophically. How did it happen? And list the top 5 causes you control. Drill them. If it's cash, extend runway now. If it's talent, cross-train now. If it's brittle tech, modularize now. If it's reputation, set communication standards now. The best time to buy fire extinguishers is before the smoke. Study how luck actually behaves. It is not a lottery ticket, it's a distribution of opportunities striking unevenly across networks. Increase your luck surface area by increasing your output and your contact with reality. Think of this like sail area on a boat. More high-quality sails set in different directions, catch more winds. Publish more experiments, talk to more people outside your bubble. Show up where decisions happen. Virtu multiplies lucky breaks by making you visible, prepared, and magnetically useful when they arrive. Build discipline around information, not just action. Fortune punishes the ignorant. Keep a decision log: the date, the choice, your reasons, the variables you weighed, and your prediction of outcomes with probabilities. Review monthly. You'll stop telling yourself cozy lies like that was unforeseeable when it was, in fact, a pattern you ignored. Over time, your sense of timing sharpens. You learn when to wait, because waiting is active when you are gathering signal, and when to strike, because delay decays advantage. Calibrate boldness. Machiavelli admired audacity that is disciplined, not reckless. Reckless action flatters the ego and murders momentum. Disciplined boldness looks like this. You make frequent, small, reversible moves, test, learn, adjust, and rare, decisive, irreversible moves, commit, capital, switch strategies, end alliances, only after accumulating clear signal. Jeff Bezos called this Type 1 and Type 2 decisions. Machiavelli would call it the lion and the fox deciding together. Train a bias to act quickly on reversible bets and to be painstakingly careful on the irreversible ones. That rhythm, fast on tests, slow on commitments, builds anti-fragility. Cultivate moral clarity that can face the storm. Dark power without conscience corrupts you and scatters allies. Light power without toughness gets eaten. You need both. Write a compact code you can remember when adrenaline spikes. I keep my word. I do not promise what I can't deliver. I do not humiliate. I am transparent about stakes. I will act decisively when continuation harms the mission. I will protect those who carry the work. Your code is not for fireworks. It's for the dark hallway where shortcuts whisper. Fortuna loves bait. Virtu declines it. Make allies before you need them. Reputation is stored energy. People follow those who reduce uncertainty for them. By communicating clearly, absorbing complexity, and being steady when others shake. Deploy 3 habits that compound trust. Close the loop, always confirm what was decided, who will do what by when. Pre-commit to a debrief after any launch, message the top 3 lessons and the next adjustment. And send credit down and risk up. Publicly praise contributors, personally own the failures. When things flood, people tie their boats to the calmest dock. Master perception without faking reality. Superficial image management rots you from the inside. The point is alignment. Make what is true about you, the reliability, the competence, the courage, visible in ways others can actually verify. Make your work inspectable. Put numbers on outcomes. Publish your operating principles. Share the trade-offs you're accepting. The cynic thinks this is weakness. The Machiavellian realist knows it's leverage. When Fortuna throws mud, documented substance is your raincoat. Embrace constraints as design inputs. Most complain about what they don't have, and in doing so, extend the reign of Fortuna. Discipline converts constraint into form. If you have little time, force focus with a one big move each week that, if finished, makes everything else easier. A partnership, a system, a key hire, an automation. If you have little money, design offers that create cash before cost, pre-sales, staging, phased delivery. If you have little status, win on responsiveness and speed. Fortune respects the builder who treats limits as blueprints. Set your personal dike height with buffers and slack. Over-optimizers drown because their margins are razor thin. They celebrated efficiency and forgot resilience. Keep dry powder. Time you don't plan, budget you don't spend, energy you don't allocate, favors you don't cash in. Slack is not laziness, it's strategic space for the unexpected. When others gasp, you breathe. When others collapse, you absorb. Design your days to train virtu in micro. Wake with the one move that changes the week, not email. Protect 2 hours of deep work where you create value, not commentary. End with a short after-action review. What went right? What failed? What will I change tomorrow? Small cycles beat grand speeches. Character is the residue of daily structure, and structure is what you return to when shock hits. Practice forward cover. Every decisive move should create 2 follow-on options so you are never cornered. If you ship a product, also secure a distribution partner and a second segment you can pivot to. If you take a role, also negotiate a growth path and develop a parallel skill that transfers. If you choose a city, also identify 2 neighboring markets where your work is valued. The point is not paranoia, it's wriggle room. Fortuna grabs those who stand on single squares. Learn to read weather quickly. momentum, sentiment, the texture of a room. Develop a handful of fast heuristics that keep you from overthinking while still honoring reality. Never argue with incentives. Trust action over promise. Avoid people who confuse urgency with importance. Leave at the first consistent sign of contempt. Double down where pull exceeds push. Heuristics are not laws, they're guardrails. When the water rises, you need rails. Study failure statistically, not poetically. Romanticizing failure either glamorizes it or makes it taboo. Strip it. Track leading indicators, inputs you control, and lagging indicators, outcomes you influence. If the lagging ones wobble, adjust the leading ones, not your self-worth. Decouple identity from tactics. Fortuna smashes those whose ego is welded to a single method. Keep your hands dirty with reality. Machiavelli wrote from the grit of politics, not a balcony. Touch customers, competitors, and constraints regularly. If you lead, do at least 10% of the frontline work yourself each month. If you negotiate, spend time with the people who will implement the deal. If you plan, walk the factory floor. The farther you are from ground truth, the more Fortuna can trick you with pretty dashboards. Finally, teach your nervous system to stay available under stress. Breath work, strength training, sleep protection, and boundaries are not wellness slogans. They are power infrastructure. A flooded mind makes cowardly choices. A regulated body keeps access to language, empathy, and strategy when alarms blare. Practice being calm in small storms, a cold shower, a fasted walk, a tough conversation you schedule rather than avoid. So your calm is earned, not imagined. This is how you start to deal with the river. You learn its seasons, you raise your dikes, you train your crew, you stock your granaries, you sketch escape routes, you hold your code, you move with measured audacity, and you keep building even when the sky darkens. Fortuna will still come, but she finds a different kind of person waiting. Reputation is stored energy. It's what arrives in the room before you do, what lingers after you leave, and what people trade with each other when you're not there. Machiavelli's lion and fox are two engines that charge this battery. The lion is your visible strength, the boundaries you enforce, the standards you refuse to compromise, the willingness to take heat for a decision. The fox is your intelligent adaptability, the way you listen, read incentives, and adjust without becoming slippery. Power is the ability to deploy both on command and to be known for doing so. Begin with clarity. If people can't summarize you in a sentence, they'll invent one. Write your one-line positioning out loud. I do X for Y to achieve Z. Then add the promise and the line you won't cross. You can count on me for A, you will never get B from me. That's not branding fluff, it's a constraint you'll be measured against. From there, define 3 non-negotiables that signal your lion. Examples: deadlines honored, truth told even when awkward, no back-channel takedowns, and 3 flex points that show your fox. Examples: pricing for non-profits, experimentation budgets, alternative timelines when facts change. Publicly naming both gives others handles to trust you. Competence must be inspectable. Trust me is the anthem of amateurs. Replace it with proof. Portfolios with before and after data, decision memos showing your reasoning, post-mortems that list what you do differently next time. Build a living evidence room, a page or document of shipped work, outcomes, testimonials, and how I think artifacts. Update it monthly. When rumors swirl, evidence gives your allies ammunition. This isn't image polishing, it's reputation engineering by transparency. The fox curates, the lion stands behind the results. Learn to project calm authority without theatrics. People feel your nervous system. When stakes rise, slow your rate of speech, shorten sentences, and bring specifics. Here's the risk, here's the range, here's the next step by Friday. That cadence says lion. When information is incomplete, resist the urge to fill silence with certainty. Say, I don't know yet. Here's what we're testing. I'll report at 3 p.m. That sentence is a fox's tail flick. Alert, not alarmed. You are training others to expect steadiness from you, which is the root of perceived strength. Use incentives as your map. Most conflicts are not moral, they're misaligned payoffs. The fox asks, what outcome pays them? What risk scares them? Who do they need to impress? When you speak to a person's incentives, you look magically persuasive. Really, you're just not arguing with gravity. But don't bend into flattery. The lion names the trade-offs plainly. If we choose speed, we accept a higher defect rate. If we choose quality, we miss the holiday window. People trust those who refuse to sell costless fantasies. Practice credible signaling. A credible signal is costly to fake and easy to verify. Examples: an SLA with penalties if you miss targets. A refund policy that is simple and honored. Publishing your roadmap and shipping dates ahead of time. Showing your calendar availability. Open sourcing a tool you could have paywalled. Committing to a charity tie-in you actually execute. The fox designs the signal. The lion pays the cost. Each time you deliver, your reputation compounds like interest, and each time you don't, it fragments like glass. Create a repertoire of refusal scripts. Saying no without drama is lion work. Keep them short, kind, and final. I appreciate the ask. That's outside my scope. I don't take meetings without an agenda. I don't do unpaid test projects, but here's a small paid trial. We don't negotiate on safety. Scripts prevent you from negotiating with yourself in the moment. The fox customizes tone, the lion holds the line. People quickly learn where to stop pushing, and the pushing stops. Design your first 10 minutes in any room. Reputation is updated at the edges. Arrivals, transitions, crises. In your first 10 minutes, confirm the goal, align on time, surface constraints, and negotiate the definition of done. We have 40 minutes. I propose we leave with an owner, a date, and the 2 biggest risks named. Anything else we should add? You've just taken gentle control without bluster. That's fox guidance carrying lion authority. Use the lion and fox lens to balance communication styles. Lion language is declarative, bounded, time-stamped. We will ship on the 15th. If blockers remain at 12 o'clock tomorrow, we cut scope B. Fox language is exploratory, conditional, and hypothesis-driven. Signal is weak on channel C. We think segment D might respond better. We'll know by Tuesday. In text, email, or calls, consciously choose which mode you're in. If you mix them haphazardly, you look either rigid or slippery. If you mix them deliberately, you look sturdy and smart. Curate your digital footprint like a portfolio, not a diary. The internet remembers even when you've grown. Audit the first 3 pages of search results for your name and work. Replace fluff with substance. Pinned threads that teach. Case studies with metrics. A Start Here post that sets expectations. A FAQ that answers your most common objections. Remove sarcasm that reads like contempt. Contempt decays status. If you must vent, do it offline. The fox knows memes. The lion knows when silence beats the algorithm. Make reputational deposits in other people's accounts. Publicly credit collaborators. Introduce quietly without taking a cut. Share others' wins with context, not envy. When you loan status, some returns as interest. Also carry risk upward. When your team fails, say I. When you succeed, say we. People tell stories about how you made them feel under pressure. Write the version you'd want repeated. Construct an explicit reputation operating system. Set a handful of rules you follow automatically. Always reply within 24 business hours, even if only to acknowledge. Always confirm agreements in writing. Always publish a short debrief after launches. Always schedule a follow-up when delivering bad news so the conversation continues. Consistency turns isolated actions into identity. Over time, people stop testing you and start planning around you. Reputation's richest dividend. Prepare inoculations against predictable attacks. If you take bold positions, you'll be framed. Name your likely caricatures before others do. You'll hear I'm overly direct. That's because I refuse to bury problems in politeness. You'll hear I'm data obsessed. That's because I don't gamble with other people's money. Inoculation works because it turns a jab into proof of your stated values. The fox reframes. The lion owns it. When you err, and you will, use the 3-step repair. Name it cleanly, make restitution, declare the new rule. I missed the deadline I set. That broke trust. I'm refunding 20% and adding daily updates until we're back on track. From now on, all dependencies get listed at kickoff. Do not dilute with excuses. Do not self-flagellate theatrically. Quick, concrete, corrective action upgrades your armor because people now know how you behave when wrong, which is when reputation is truly measured. Avoid the brittle trap, over-optimizing for image. If you won't take a good risk because it might look messy for a week, you've traded power for polish. The fox loves polish. The lion loves scars. Choose earned scars. Publish work in progress when learning benefits your audience. Ask hard questions in public without humiliating anyone. Share your updated thinking when facts change. People respect visible evolution. They mock frantic rebranding. Set interaction principles that travel. Write them once, share them with partners and teams, and live them. Examples: disagree in private, align in public. No contempt, critique the idea, protect the person. We make the invisible visible. Decisions, trade-offs, and owners are documented. We don't do urgent by default. Principles reduce the variance of your behavior across contexts. Low variance breeds trust. Develop range deliberately. If you're only a lion, you crash into avoidable walls. If you're only a fox, you slither into rooms and never command them. Schedule practice runs in your weak mode. If you avoid direct conflict, take on a small, bounded confrontation each week. Deliver a firm no, renegotiate a mis-scoped task, push back on an unfair frame. If you overconfront, practice asking 3 clarifying questions before stating your view. Range is trained, not wished. Read rooms like a strategist. Scan for power centers, connectors, skeptics, and undecideds. Name the unspoken incentives. Choose your intervention. Ask the dumb but liberating question. Summarize competing frames neutrally, or propose a process that lowers status anxiety, e.g., silent write-downs before discussion. The fox reduces friction. The lion then makes the call. When people experience that flow, they start inviting you to lead. Keep a private reputation ledger. After meaningful interactions, jot who was there, what they cared about, what you promised, what you delivered, and any frictions. Review weekly. Patterns will emerge, where you overpromise, which contexts drain your authority, which allies amplify you. Adjust your future reputation is a lagging indicator of this ledger. Understand reputational debt. Every time you borrow trust, asking for patience, bending a rule, making a big claim, you create a liability. Pay it back with interest quickly. If you keep rolling the debt, even small stumbles turn into crises. The lion limits borrowing, the fox plans repayments before borrowing happens. Design your status game to be boringly sustainable. High drama attracts attention and burns credibility. Quiet excellence compounds. Keep a regular heartbeat of visible value. Weekly notes that teach something you learned. Monthly case studies. Quarterly open Q&A. Predictability is not dull, it's reassuring. When you occasionally make a big move, it stands out. Use micro-honor in negotiations. Honor is not medieval, it's the discipline of keeping your word in the small. Show up when you say you will. Send the doc when you said you would. Close the loop on the tiny thing no one else cares about. Micro-honor signals macro reliability. Deals close faster with people who stop forcing others to chase them. Guard against reputation parasites. Gossip, constant sarcasm, performative cynicism. These feel clever and cost you compounding. Replace them with sharp generosity, clear praise, specific feedback, quiet corrections. When you must critique, add a proposal. This plan misses customer onboarding. Propose we add a 2-week activation sprint with 3 measurable milestones. The fox removes poison, the lion adds structure. Build bridges across tribes. Bonding ties, people like you feel good. Bridging ties, people unlike you extend power. Attend a conference outside your niche each quarter. Join one community where you are a beginner. Publish in a venue your peers don't read. The fox explores new forests, the lion becomes known beyond the cave. Cross-pollination upgrades your ideas and your reputation for original thinking. When you need to escalate, escalate cleanly. Document the facts, avoid adjectives, propose a remedy, set a deadline. 3 defects above tolerance were found in lots 14 to 16. Customer impact is medium. Propose halt ship, root cause within 24 hours, and a patch by Friday, 12 noon. Escalation isn't yelling louder, it's tightening the frame. The lion protects standards, the fox keeps relationships intact. Keep a short list of signature moves. These are behaviors others can rely on and retell. You always send a crisp one-page brief before meetings. You always arrive with an option no one considered. You always protect the most junior person speaking. Signature moves are story-friendly. Stories are how reputation travels. Choose yours on purpose. Finally, train the face you make under pressure. Not metaphorically, literally. Record yourself delivering bad news. Remove the nervous laugh. Remove hedging fillers. Replace with breath, stillness, and one level lower volume. When storms come, your demeanor will be your loudest signal. The fox reads the room, the lion anchors it. People won't remember every word, but they will remember whether you made them feel steadier or shakier. Your reputation is that feeling, repeated, and the armor it forges is what lets you move through conflict without being bent out of shape. Leverage is what turns a push into a shove and a shove into a shift. Without leverage, you are trapped in linear effort, 1 unit in, 1 unit out, and that is how strong people still lose. With leverage, you trade design for grind, a document that aligns 10 teams, a distribution partner that replaces 100 cold calls, a well-engineered process that runs while you sleep, a narrative that recruits strangers to carry your idea. Build leverage in peace so you can deploy it in war. There are 5 primary levers worth obsessing over. Informational leverage, privileged, timely, correctly interpreted signal. Relational leverage, people who will answer your call and take you seriously. Operational leverage, systems that make throughput insensitive to your mood or the weather. Capital leverage, money or assets that extend time and reach. Narrative leverage, a story others repeat because it makes sense of their world and gives them a role. When a move matters, pull more than one at once. A mediocre tactic wrapped in a strong narrative and pushed through a trusted relationship will beat a good tactic floating alone. Timing is the multiplier on all of this. Being early with no one to meet you is indistinguishable from being wrong. Being late when the window has closed is indistinguishable from being weak. Learn the shapes of windows. There are event windows, a competitor stumbles, a regulation shifts, a conference gathers the exact people you need. Attention windows, your audience is tuned to a specific pain after a news cycle or seasonal pinch. Momentum windows, internally, morale and focus crest after a win. Externally, your brand is hot for a brief period. And resource windows, cash, inventory, talent availability. Train yourself to see and quantify each. Ask daily, what window is open right now? What would it cost to go through it? What would it cost to wait? Build instruments to measure time, not just tasks. Lagging indicators will flatter or scare you too late. Choose leading indicators tied to the window you're hunting. Reply speed from target partners, organic mention velocity, demo to close cycle, inbound talent quality, unit economics at small scale. If those curves are bending your way, accelerate. If they're not, stop worshipping the plan. Your plan is a guess you wrote down. Timing favors the person who updates guesses quickly. Decisive action is not random aggression. It's a prepared snap that compresses many small yeses into one audible click. Most people drown in half choices. We'll try a little of both. Let's keep options open. Let's revisit next quarter. They think they're avoiding pain. They are accruing it as interest. A clean decision creates a cut line. On this side, commitments, sprints, names, dates. On that side, closure. Before you swing, define kill criteria and commit them publicly to your team or even to partners. If CAC stays above €60 for 4 consecutive weeks at our current quality bar, we kill Channel A. If the refactor exceeds 6 weeks or burns 20% of runway, we revert. Pre-committed kill criteria are discipline in advance. They save you from bargaining with yourself when sunk costs whisper. They also make you look strangely steady because you are simply following rules you wrote when your judgment was cold. Use one-way versus two-way door thinking to sequence moves. If a choice is reversible with bounded cost, default to fast experiments run in parallel. Speed beats debate. If a choice is irreversible or very expensive to reverse, slow down to speed up, expand surface area of input, simulate failure modes, run a red team. Then, when you commit, move at once and all the way. Weak commitments invite sabotage from entropy. Leverage is designed upstream. If you know you will need a partnership in the fourth quarter, begin reputational deposits in the first quarter. Signal by shipping on time. Publish useful analyses. Share small wins that display competence. Help their junior people succeed so senior people hear your name. By quarter 4, your email lands in an inbox that's already warm. That is relational leverage you cannot buy last minute. If you know a legal change could crush you, engage counsel early, join the relevant association, draft the compliance plan now. That is informational and operational leverage before the storm. Narrative leverage deserves craft. People do not rally around spreadsheets. They rally around stories that preserve their dignity while changing their behavior. Write the short story others can retell without losing face. Who is the hero? What is the dragon? What rituals signal progress? What victory looks like and by when? In a turnaround, the hero is the customer. The dragon is waste or confusion. The ritual is the weekly visible win. Victory is a specific metric and a date. Make the narrative true by design. Ship the rituals, broadcast the wins, keep score openly. When it is time to cut, cut clean. Incremental cruelty is 1,000 paper cuts that demoralize everyone and still fail to solve the problem. If a product must be sunset, pick a day, ship a migration path, compensate fairly, and allocate real staff to hold hands through the transition. If a team must shrink, do it once with a principled rule: cut projects, not people. Then staff follows the work. Over-communicate the why and protect the remaining team from death by whisper by making the plan boringly explicit. Who does what stops now, when you'll reevaluate. The clean cut hurts now and heals. The dirty cut hurts forever. Design the choreography of a clean cut as if it were a launch. There is day -3 preparation. Final decision memo, FAQs, legal review, owner assignments. Day 0 communication. Message hierarchy, those most affected. First, then stakeholders, then public. Day 1 stabilization. Office hours, inbound triage, monitoring dashboards. Day 7. Proof. Visible evidence the change is working. Reduced defects, improved margins, faster cycle time. Artifacts matter. A one-page why, what, how, when, what's next minimizes rumor and reduces the temptation to freelance. People are less afraid when they can point to paper. In negotiations, time is the silent lever. Start clocks for others and stop clocks for yourself. Start clocks by offering expiring terms tied to real constraints. We have 6 enterprise slots at this price this quarter. After that, we can't guarantee onboarding time. Stop your clock by pre-committing a decision window that's long enough to collect signal, but short enough to keep tempo. Will revert by Thursday, after we speak to references A and B. Never negotiate in the fog of a rolling deadline. If the other side tries to force one, the lion says no, and the fox changes the game. If it's today or never, it's never. If you can honor Friday, we can materially improve the package. Hold the triangle of scope, time, and quality without lying. You can only fix 2. A decisive leader makes the trade explicit and records it. We will hit the date by reducing scope B and preserving quality at 95% tolerance. Shadow choices, pretending you can have all 3, are the birthplace of chaos. After the decision, shield the team from just one more feature. Your job is to defend the boundary you drew. In product and strategy, sequence for compounding leverage. Do work that unlocks other work. Build the API before the app so partners can extend you while you sleep. Document your process so onboarding is measured in hours, not weeks. Automate reporting so you don't beg for data right when you need it most. Write the sales narrative once, test it live, then teach it to 3 others so you scale throughput. This is boring power, a machine of simple parts that produce surplus attention and time for the moments that demand art. Do not confuse patience with drift. Waiting is only strategic if it increases your advantage when you act. Waiting that adds no information, no allies, no cash, no clarity is avoidance. Ask during any delay, what new edge will I possess later that I lack now? If the answer is none, move. Fortuna punishes drift with entropy fees. Morale slips, competitors copy, options decay. Learn tempo control. Fast when learning is cheap, deliberate when consequence is large. Think in drum patterns. Tap, tap, tap. Boom. The taps are probes, reversible moves that gather truth. Email campaigns, small pilots, pre-sell pages, stakeholder interviews. The boom is a commitment with teeth. Contract signed, budget reallocated, product retired. Many leaders do tap, 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 tap forever and wonder why nothing moves, or they do boom, boom, boom and blow out trust. Rhythm is the art. When you must confront entrenched interests, pick battles that create precedent. Precedent is leverage that survives you. A well-fought policy change, a new rule for how decisions are documented, a template everyone adopts. These give you power next time with less blood. Machiavelli's cruelty well used in modern life means one confrontation that ends 100 petty ones. Choose a conflict where the principle is clear, win it cleanly, then codify the outcome so no one has to refight it. If you lead people, defend energy like runway. Burnout is a hidden tax that empties your leverage just when timing demands a sprint. Use energy budgets like money, cap meetings per day, create no meeting blocks for deep work, rotate on call, enforce PTO. During decisive pushes, narrow the goal to one metric, one owner per thread, one daily stand-up. Remove novelty and noise, add routine and ritual. Rituals are leverage on attention. Be ruthless with bottlenecks. Identify your constraint using a simple flow map, leads to demos to proposals to closes to onboarding to retention. Find the narrowest pipe and widen only that. Everything else is vanity. If demos convert but onboarding leaks, stop pouring more leads, fix onboarding. If onboarding sings but you starve at the top, partner for distribution. The cleanest cuts in strategy are cuts to everything not solving the constraint. Focus is a blade. Keep a standing strike file for moments when timing flips. Track the 3 partners you'd call if your main channel shut down, the 2 hires you'd make if a star left, the top 5 customers you'd pursue if you could only pursue 5. Keep drafts of emails and briefs. When fortune tilts, you don't want to brainstorm, you want to deploy. This file is quiet leverage, preparedness that looks like luck. Train the habit of writing decisions. A 1-page decision doc, context, options considered, chosen path, trade-offs, kill criteria, owners, deadlines, distills fog into force. Circulate it, timestamp it, store it where future you can find it. You will prevent 2 cancers. We never agreed to that, and why did we do that? When the cut hurts, the doc carries legitimacy. When memory embellishes, the doc brings everyone back to earth. In crisis, shrink the planning horizon and raise the cadence. Daily stand-ups with 3 questions. What moved the metric? What blocked it? What we'll try next? Replace sprawling meetings. A simple scoreboard on the wall or in the channel keeps score visible. Limit priorities to 3. If you have 5, you have none. Use words that make action unambiguous. Own, ship, cut, decide, not align, socialize, circle back. Language is leverage over behavior. Ethics are not decorations on decisive action, they're stabilizers. If you must cut costs, start at the top. Visible leadership, pay reductions, set tone. Offer dignity-preserving exits, clear references, real help. If you must renege on a plan, say why in plain language, absorb blame, and offer a make-right that costs you something. Cynicism spreads fast when pain feels arbitrary. People will follow you through hard moves if they believe the pain has purpose and is fairly distributed. Protect slack around the moment of decision. The hour before and after big calls should be empty of other commitments. Think, decide, communicate, stabilize. Rushing from a decisive meeting into a casual one leaves residue. You say things you shouldn't, you signal ambivalence, you leak energy. Make the moment special so people feel its weight and its closure. Closure is leverage over rumor. Your personal life needs the same machinery. Decide preemptively what you will never trade away. Sleep below a line, exercise minimums, family rituals, creative time, and cut meetings that violate those rules. You cannot be decisive externally if you are constantly negotiating against yourself internally. The person who has already decided who they are is frighteningly effective because each new decision is a reference to the prior one, not a fresh struggle. When faced with two good options, prefer the one that buys future options. That is the real options view of strategy. Choose paths that keep doors open unless you are deliberately closing doors to force excellence. If a partnership locks you into a single supplier with punitive clauses, you'd better be getting category-killing distribution in return. If not, walk. Leverage is optionality plus courage. Timing is knowing which to spend. Finally, rehearse the snap. The body hesitates when it is not used to decisive movement. Practice small clean cuts weekly. Unsubscribe from noise, delete zombie tasks, end a limping experiment, say a crisp no. Each clean, low-stakes cut trains the nervous system to tolerate decisive action at higher stakes. By the time the real moment arrives, your hand knows what to do. You collected the levers, you watched the windows, you wrote the rules, and when the bell rang, you moved, once, fully, and forward. Dark power isn't the license to harm, it's the capacity to see without denial and act without flinching, directed toward outcomes that make life sturdier for more people. Think of it as moral hydraulics. You route pressure away from the fragile, toward the places that can bear it. Your strength becomes a shelter, your clarity becomes a torch. The trick is building guardrails so the same force that could coerce instead protects. Begin by choosing a mission that survives inspection. Write it in 2 lines. Who you serve and what gets better with a measurable proof. We help first-time founders reach sustainable profitability. Proof is 12 months of positive cash flow. We design learning that raises exam pass rates for public school students. Proof is a 15% increase across 2 cohorts. Good missions do not rely on your virtue to remain good. They produce checkable benefits even if you're having a bad week. This prevents ends justify any means creep, because the end is visible and the means are audited. Adopt constraint as ethics in action. State 3 red lines you will not cross to hit the metric. No deception in reporting, no humiliation as a management tactic, no shifting externalities to people who can't defend themselves, customers, juniors, vendors without leverage. Then state 3 priorities you will spend against: safety, consent, and transparency of trade-offs. When decisions get hot, you don't debate first principles, you apply them. People relax around leaders who won't sell them out at the first dip. Build a personal power code you can recite under adrenaline. Keep it short enough to say in one breath, I keep my word, I speak plain, I don't punish truth, I make hard calls once, not endlessly, I repair when I'm wrong, I send credit down and hold risk up, I choose the long term when the short term would rot us. Tape it where you choose and where you sleep. Your code is not branding, it is a circuit breaker when fear tries to rewire you. Wield selective toughness like a scalpel, not a hammer. Pressure is for systems, not for souls. If quality is sagging, tighten process, shorten feedback loops, make the work inspectable. Do not default to public shaming, sarcasm, or ambush reviews. The modern reading of cruelty well used is clear friction placed at failure points. Automated checks that stop unsafe code, gate reviews that block half-baked launches, procurement rules that prevent conflicts of interest. You make the wrong thing hard without making good people small. Design rituals that prevent rot. Sunlight rituals. Write decisions in public channels, publish simple dashboards, timestamp promises, run pre-mortems and post-mortems. Dignity rituals. When something breaks, ask, how did the system make this likely? Before, who did this? When a win happens, name names precisely. When bad news arrives, deliver it early, in full, and with a next step. Boundary rituals. No meetings after X, no urgent by default, no private deals for public work. People won't need to guess your values, they'll experience them. Use power to create ladders, not moats. A moat keeps out competition. A ladder lets the worthy in. Build internships that pay, mentor publicly so the invisible can self-select, open source starter kits, publish how we hire rubrics, create opt-in office hours. Your future allies are watching from outside the walls. Ladders let them climb without begging. The status you loan out returns with interest in resilience and legitimacy. Handle information like a steward, not a hoarder. Withholding breeds paranoia. Oversharing raw chaos spreads anxiety. Curate signal. Teach your team how to read it. Build a weekly cadence. What we're seeing, what it means, what we'll try next, what we need from you. When people understand the game, they can play honorably. When they don't, they play politics. Clarity is the most humane form of power. Practice consentful command. You will need to decide at speed, and you can do it without infantilizing adults. The pattern? Consult broadly on framing and risks, decide clearly with reasons and a time horizon, commit resources, and schedule a check-back. We'll go with Path B because it preserves runway and discovery. We'll revisit in 3 weeks after we see retention on Cohort 2. This respects intelligence while protecting tempo. People can disagree and still trust you because you're legible. Anchor negotiations in fairness you can explain to a reasonable outsider. Set a standard package, then adjust with rules, not whim. Impact band, scarcity, and risk taken. If you must say no to a request, give the fair reason and the path to yes. We can't expand scope within this budget. If we remove Module C or add 2 weeks, we can maintain quality. Your call power plus fairness prevents the bad equilibrium where only squeaky wheels win. When harm happens, and it will, repair like a leader, not a lawyer. Name the harm in the language of the harmed, not your intentions. Offer restitution that costs you something and is useful to them. Change the rule that made the harm likely. Tell the story publicly so the lesson scales. This is not performative guilt, it's institutional learning. People don't expect perfection, they expect seriousness. Build systems that refuse to depend on saintliness. If a process requires everyone to be their best self to work, it will fail at human speed. Put bumpers on the lanes, 2-person approvals for funds, independent QA for critical releases, rotation on-call to prevent hero culture, mandatory vacations so single points of failure don't calcify. Good power doesn't flatter your willpower. It reduces the number of times willpower is needed. Keep your promises small and your delivery loud. Under-promising isn't timidity, it is respect for reality. Over time, people will calibrate to your reliability and give you more rope. When you need to pull a community through discomfort, a migration, a policy shift, credibility built on quiet delivery is the softest rope you'll ever own. Use status to absorb the blast. When a controversial but necessary change is made, leaders go first. Cut your own perks, take the hardest shifts, stand in front of the upset, answer questions until the heat drops a degree. You are a heat sink. You protect the line so they can keep building. Conversely, when praise rains, redirect it. Name the engineer who killed the bug, the ops lead who made the playbook, the junior who noticed the pattern. People remember who shielded them and who shoved them. Turn ambition into craft. The desire to win curdles if it's not tethered to workmanship. Make the work beautiful where users can feel it. Faster response times, clearer affordances, documentation that doesn't condescend, onboarding that feels like hospitality. Quiet excellence is the most persuasive argument that your power serves something real. It's hard to demonize the person who keeps the trains running on time and the doors open to more riders. Protect the commons you benefit from. If your industry runs on open libraries, sponsor maintainers. If your neighborhood hosts your foot traffic, pick up trash and pay for flowers. If your audience gives you reach, invest in their literacy. Teach them how to think, not just what to buy. Stewardship turns extraction into reciprocity. Reciprocity turns skeptics into allies. Make space for dissent you can use. Power that can't be questioned becomes dumb and eventually cruel. Create non-retaliatory channels, anonymous forms with public monthly responses, rotating red teams with explicit protection. Disagree and commit logs where minority opinions are preserved and revisited after outcomes land. The goal isn't endless debate, it's catching blind spots before they hit the windshield. When people see you changed course because someone raised a hand, they learn that courage works here. Practice clean influence. Don't manipulate with faux deadlines, vague threats, or information asymmetry. Instead, build agreements around true constraints and shared wins. If we hit NPS 60 by June, we earn the right to pursue Market X with a dedicated team. This channels self-interest toward the mission. The fox reads incentives. The lion sets stakes. Both keep hands clean. Decouple worth from performance while keeping standards high. You can tell someone, you matter here regardless. This piece of work is not acceptable. Command without contempt. The moment you tie identity to output, you create fear. Fear creates hiding. Hiding creates rot. High standards plus psychological safety is not a corporate buzzword. It is the only environment where adults do their best thinking under pressure. Put your ethics on the calendar. Schedule 60 minutes monthly for mission hygiene. Review one policy that affects dignity, hiring, firing, feedback. One metric that could distort behavior, vanity numbers, perverse incentives, and one story you're telling publicly. Make a change each month. Ethics aren't lofty, they're maintenance. Skipping maintenance is how buildings fall on people who trusted you. Choose allies you would trust with bad news. Talent dazzles, character stabilizes. Measure for the latter with small tests. Do they keep confidences? Do they credit others? Do they seek blame or assign it? Do they bring problems with a proposed next step? A team of dazzling cynics will beat your numbers for a quarter and burn your village in a year. A team of steady strivers will compound for a decade. Power for good is a hiring philosophy. Use money as a clarifier, not a cleanser. If you must choose between short-term gain and long-term trust, write down the discounted cash flow of trust. Repeat customers, referrals, lowered legal risk, faster closes, recruitment tailwinds. These are cash flows. You can model them crudely and still see the truth. Trust pays better. When a windfall appears that would poison the well, your spreadsheet should already tell you it's not worth it. Design exits that leave bridges standing. People will outgrow roles, disagree with directions, or simply want a different life. Treat departures like graduations, real references, a crisp handover, a what we built together note. Influencers talk. Alumni are your diaspora. A generous exit is a loud signal. This place is safe to try hard. Guard your own inner life like infrastructure. Sleep is not a luxury, it's uptime. Movement is not vanity, it's stress flushing. Silence is not slacking, it's defragging. If your body and mind degrade, your judgments skew toward ego preservation. You'll start choosing options that look strong but are really loud. The quiet daily disciplines make you someone who doesn't need the costume of power to act powerfully. Be explicit about the difference between secrecy and privacy. Secrecy hides things that affect others' rights to consent or prepare. Privacy protects dignity and security. Keep financial runway public inside the company. Keep medical leave private. Keep decision criteria public. Keep personal conflicts discussed in small rooms. People resent secrecy. They appreciate privacy. Power that can sort the two is humane. Teach. Every time you explain, not just what you decided, but how you decided, you create more deciders. More deciders means fewer bottlenecks, fewer panics, more resilience. Write how we decide memos. Annotate past calls with what you misjudged and why you corrected. Share your priors and your heuristics. Apprenticeship is the most dignified use of power because it makes you less necessary. When you borrow from the future, overtime sprints, technical debt, political IOUs, write the repayment plan alongside the decision and schedule it. Debt without a plan is exploitation. Debt with a plan is adult coordination. Pay back on time. The team will feel the difference and keep lending you their discretionary effort without bitterness. Keep a short list of non-negotiable shelters. These are people or groups you will not trade for advantage. Whistleblowers who told you hard truths, juniors who took big risks for the mission, vendors who saved you on a Sunday, customers who stayed loyal through an ugly patch. Protect them when others would sell them. Power without loyalty is brittle. Loyalty without power is naive. Hold both. Refuse glamour that distorts reality. Press that inflates you. Awards that have pay to play. Panels where nothing real is said. These can make you chase shadows. Choose visibility that increases accountability. AMAS, where customers can ask anything. Dashboards anyone can read. Case studies with numbers that can be checked. The more your image matches your substance, the safer your power is to hold. Use your sharpness to cut through fog on behalf of the timid. Speak the unspoken respectfully. The project is failing, the strategy is fashion, the culture is fraying. Then volunteer for the fix you just created. Courage that only names problems is theatre. Courage that carries weight is leadership. People will give you real authority because you use it to do the jobs that scare them, not to pose above them. And when you encounter someone trying to wield dark power against you, gaslighting, threats, reputation smears, do not play their game. Raise the altitude. Document everything. Bring sunlight, not gossip. Escalate cleanly through the processes you've made trustworthy. Set protective boundaries, not retaliatory traps. The point is not to win a petty fight. It is to keep the air breathable for everyone who comes after you.